Hi, welcome to Brand X. I'm Candace Brand, and with me today is Clare St. Arnaud. He's a Santee Sioux and Chippewa Indian, an incredible athlete who is on his return trip home from Earth Journey, British Columbia, which is a 3-day ultra-triathlon. He's a 2-time Ironman finisher in '88 and '89, a 9-time Ironman finisher, and a veteran of 72 marathon runs. He's also 53 years young. He's visiting some friends now in the Bitterroot, which is how we caught up with him. Clare, can you tell us what an ultra-triathlon is? We've maybe not heard the term, and...
Well, first of all, the pinnacle for triathlons at this point is the Ironman race, which you mentioned. I've done 9, and I've done 2 Ultraman races. The Ironman was started in '79 in Hawaii, but there are some around the country the same distance. That's a 2.5-mile swim, generally in the ocean, a 112-mile cycle, and a regulation marathon, 26.2-mile marathon. Ultraman goes a step beyond, and that generally the ones I have done, which are 3 now, are 6-mile swims, 300-mile cycles, and 52.4-mile runs in 3 days, and they're 3-day stage races.
What started you doing this, or why do you do something like this? You're pushing your body, your mind, everything to its limit, if not past.
I started running marathons in '75, and when the Ironman was invented in '79, I noticed it in Sports Illustrated and went out to learn how to ride a bike in '80 and swim, and participated in my first Ironman in '82. Generally, you move on to progression of challenges, and that's the reason I got into triathlons and ultra triathlons. It's a progression in my life of new challenges.
And you started this relatively late. Like you said, what, 15 years you've been doing this?
So I'd been 38 or so. Yeah.
Isn't that awful late for an athlete?
No, it's never too late for anybody who wants to achieve something, whether it be in athletics or academics, whatever. I think my philosophy is that you try, regardless of who you are, what you are, where you are in age.
And something like this ultra-triathlon sure is a trying experience.
Yeah, there were only 17 of us chosen for this last triathlon. It's the first one of its kind in North America. The Earth Journey was started in Canada, first one in North America. And they chose, of the thousands of people they selected to send applications to, they chose a few hundred to send applications to apply for an invitation. And then from those, they took 25 numbers and invited 17 of us. So I was very privileged to be one of them.
Now, when you go to a race like this, how do you need a sponsor? You have a sponsor for these races?
Yes, we train quite long, and so the expenses of training and trips are generally upheld by sponsorship by companies. At this point, this trip I was sponsored by the Biosphere 2 of Tucson, or Oracle, Arizona, where I live, which is a closed environmental project that's world known. It costs thousands of dollars to maintain an athlete that participates at this level.
How many people do you go with? What do you take with you?
Well, this last trip there were 2 people from Oracle that came, and then I had a Canadian with me. So we had 3 people there in Penticton. They're expensive transporting them for 3 days, and hotels and 2 rental cars and food and lodging and extras, bicycles that I brought, equipment, swimming wetsuits, special food diet that I'm on, and supplements. So it's pretty elaborate.
How do you have a nutritionist that goes with you? Somebody that just does your food, and then?
No, we're nutritionists. Those of us that participate at this level of athletics, we monitor our daily diets for training, which includes primarily carbohydrate supplements, but other supplements for. We don't take steroids. I want to make that clear. We don't take drugs. We take natural herbal stimulants that help us in our training. And you have to be very much aware of what your body is capable of digesting before and during the race.
Mm-hmm. And it changes
Yeah.
the whole time you're running.
Yes, drastically.
What is your training like? What do you do for that?
Generally, training consists of 2 hours of swimming each day and perhaps 4 to 5 hours of cycling and perhaps an hour to 2 of running. So you've got probably an 8-hour day of training, which is a full-time job. In addition, I'm a farrier by trade.
Isn't that how you met with the Biosphere people?
Yes, I've been shoeing their horses for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very good friends with employees of the Biosphere. They're from around the world.
Uh-huh. Now, are they going to monitor your? Are they going to be sponsoring you for a while to monitor your physical?
Hopefully, there's going to be some continued relationship between Biosphere and myself. One of the medical doctors that's going into the Biosphere is very much interested in doing a physiological workup on me in St. Louis, so we may fly there to do a physiological workup on me, test my VO2 max, and that's your ability to uptake oxygen, slow twitch muscle tests, body fat tests, lung capacity, bone density.
All the, now, do you have low body fat?
I'm not too low right now because this is my first race into the season. I'm probably at 12% right now. I usually, by mid-season, end of the season, I'll be around 6%.
When you say a season, what do you have certain races that are every
my
year?
season is long ultras. I'll be doing Costa Rica in November, quite a long race, and then I go to Australia in the winter, New Zealand in the spring. So my season is continuous.
Wow, I didn't realize they had all that. Now, what do you do for relaxation? You have all these races and all this preparation time.
Shoe horses.
Shoe horses.
Well, I don't have much of a normal life, but most people would consider normal. I have, my hours are restricted for going out, and I'm single, so I don't have the opportunity to date that much because I just don't have the energy to stay up very late.
You have the energy for races, but
who wants to go out with a guy that sleeps too much and eats like a pig?
That's one way of putting it. I'm not sure that people looking at you would quite agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm doing what I want to do. Some people think I live a very Spartan life, and they think so because I don't eat the way they do, and I don't do the things they do, but I'm doing what I want to do.
That's taken you a while to get to that point. Now, with your 2 degrees, what were they in?
Psychology and sociology.
Well, that could probably help you with these races. So much of it is just yourself against yourself, I would guess.
Just we compete awfully competitively with other people in our field, but it's primarily against yourself. The mind tells the body to do a lot of different things, and there's a constant war going on in a 3-day race. I mean, it's a lot of psychological ups and downs that occur.
When you come off of a race, does it take you time then that you have to unwind and let...
I've just finished Earth Journey, British Columbia, where I swam 6 miles and biked 300 miles and ran 52. I just finished Sunday evening, and what are we talking about here? Thursday.
Thursday, right.
So yeah, I'm about 2/3 back from recovering. My feet are not swollen, but I'm tired now. It's the end of the day. So it takes about a week. Probably if they do testing on us, they'll probably say it takes you a year. But we don't wait that long.
Oh, before you start. Now, do they have, I know on the endurance races with horses that they do, they have doctors along the way that check out the animals and say either they can go on or not. Did they have that in these kind of races where they're 3 days long? And
oh yeah, you're monitored by race staff who may have contracted doctors and nurses, and pretty much most of the crews maintain a medical person on their crew, and there were several doctors within the vicinity that were always monitoring us. So yeah, you're watched very closely for dehydration and so forth. Hypothermia was a big one in this race because heavy rains we ran into at high altitude for hour after hour.
Oh my.
So you pry us off the handlebars sometimes. That was a 280-kilometer race.
Do you have something that you just, when you're racing, I imagine at a certain point you just have to start, do you block out your mind and just go into thinking about nothing, or do you have as the end the goal?
No, you have to pay attention to yourself. We disassociate a lot as far as the reality of the situation. You're dealing with pain at different times, but you have to be very much aware of your equipment and yourself and your crew. Frequently, your crew gets tired and they get out of line, and you have to correct them. You know.
In addition to keeping track of yourself.
During the race.
Oh my.
So you have to pay attention. It's no place for daydreamers.
That's something, we have this idea of an athlete, and we were laughing earlier about the college football player who is making it through and not able to read or whatever. And here you are, and you're a specialist in nutrition, you're a specialist in psychology, your physiology, just everything. You have to almost be a master of all these different things. What are you going to eventually teach and use that to, after you get out of this? Do you see an end where you might stop doing these?
Well, there's a spaceship en route now. I'm going to crawl on it and leave one of these days. Until it gets here, I'm probably going to do clinics, which I usually do. I teach sports nutrition or exercise. And I'm in several ultra-endurance magazines and books for training. But I probably will write eventually as I get older about my participation in the sport.
Now, do you feel that your body, we hear about runners and having shin splints and all that. Do you find that to be even more of a problem since you're doing...
No. I've suffered none of those ailments that occur with a lot of, say, pure runners or specialists like cyclists, runners, or swimmers. My business here is specialists in all three, and I've incurred nothing in 15 years. I have no sports-related injuries. We run tremendous mileage at times. I mean, when we're at full training, somebody wants to go out for a 40-mile training run, we do that, and we still maintain our training the next day. So it doesn't... I guess when you reach the pyramid of this business, of hundreds of thousands of people that start out, say, in short triathlons, and when they reach the pinnacle of ultra, there are very few of us left. And it's a gift from your parents and from the Great Spirit, I think, that you're able to do this. It's a gift that I can do this. It's not, I mean, shoot, look at me, I weigh 200 pounds, and I'm not the usual 160-pound triathlete. I weigh 200 pounds, I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm 53 years old.
That's what amazes me, is that you're doing these, and it's so much later in life when most people think of athletes being finished and going on to write books and stuff. You've just recently started, and in fact, looking at that list of athletes, they were all in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, right. Maturity is the name of the game, I think, mental and physically. Those of us that reach a maturity with good physical and mental health have the option to achieve a great deal. I think society in America condemns its people when they reach 30. It's a youthism fad in this country. Well, that's bullshit. I couldn't do a damn thing when I was young. I could wander around thinking about how great it was to be young. The next thing I knew, I was old.
And now look at what you're doing.
Most people feel sorry for themselves. I don't think that's the name of the game. I think you're put on earth to achieve something to the fullest, and I think that's the name of the... Enjoy your life, and shucks, go for it. Play the hand you're dealt.
Yes. Is there anything you want to do that you haven't done in terms of athletics?
I want to swim the English Channel. I want to be the first Native American across to claim the European continent. Right.
There you go. Plant the flag. We'll do it in reverse.
I want to swim the English Channel, the western states. There's a number of things. I want to do some cross-country ski racing, which I enjoy doing. Maybe I'll come back here to train in the winter cross-country or something.
It's a beautiful area to do it in.
And there are a myriad of activities I want to participate in. There's no shortage of things I can do. It's just, who can afford me?
Mm-hmm.
Who can afford me?
Yes, at this rate, I can see how the expense. I didn't realize it.
It's tremendously expensive to feed us even.
Mm-hmm. Well, I sure thank you for your time, for taking your time out of the little relaxation you're getting while you're passing through. Thank you for joining us.